Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. We are back talking about Married at First Sight, season 16, Nashville. Okay, let us get right into it. We had 3 weddings this episode. It started off with Shaquille and Kirsten's wedding, which they had started that wedding last episode, but they finished it up this episode, and it's like we have another Alyssa, but she's better at playing it cool. Like, that wedding was so awkward. Those 2 people stood so far apart from each other. It was like, are y'all getting married or y'all trying to keep COVID space? They were about 6 feet apart. I seriously could not believe it. I was like, girl, get close to him. And then on top of that, when she walked up to the altar, she didn't say anything. She sat there. And then he sat there, which was also awkward. But then finally, he was like laughing or giggling or something. And she was like, what? And let me tell you, that what was a very, you're ugly, what do you want? Like, it was so obvious because it's like, when you think somebody's cute, it's like, but she said, what? Like, he was just hideous. And then he was like, oh, you're very beautiful. And she was just like, thank you. Then their pastor or preacher or, justice of the peace, whoever it was, married the 2 of them. And it was like dead silent. Like, I feel like every other couple made comments or little things while people were getting married. They were just silent. And then at the end, he was like, okay, whatever, you may kiss the bride. And she gave him the cheek, like I mentioned last episode. I was just so, I don't know. It was very awkward. You could tell she did not find him attractive. And I don't know if he could tell, because I think he just feels like, oh, she has nerves like me. And it's like, no, boo, these aren't nerves. She don't like you. But it was like, because then he tried to justify the kiss on the cheek like, oh, she has standards or boundaries. I like that. Sir, I said it last episode and I'll say it again. If you look like Idris Elba, Lance Gross, you would have gotten on her lips. But you don't. So you wasn't her type. And then, but luckily, I hope she's so much better than season 14 Alyssa, because she said his exterior, she said something about his exterior isn't what she likes, him being bald, him being younger than her, but his personality is winning her over. And if she can stick to that, if she can truly stick to his personality winning her over, then I think that they might be solid. But we're going to have to see if she can push away the attraction and still, like him despite. Like, after their wedding, and they have like that little moment where the 2 of them talk before they take pictures, before they do anything else, it just seemed awkward. The conversation was like she didn't want to have it. But when he started talking, it seemed like she felt a little more comfortable, because I said it and I'll say it again, Shaquille seems like a cool person. He seems like a fun person that you want to be around. So I think she might like who he is, but then she remembers what he looks like, or, and I want to know if she can separate the 2 and then start to find him attractive to her because he's a nice person. Obviously, Shaquille finds her attractive. Everybody knew he was. That was obvious. Our next couple, Gina and Clint. Okay, Gina's dress, wow, gorgeous. She picked like the perfect dress for her body shape. It looked good. I loved it. Clint, on the other hand, he went and picked that suit. Like, when he put on that first suit, I was like, okay, Clint, check you out. And then his friends were like, that's not you, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, oh, your friends hate you because they rather have you in this bland ass, excuse my language, gray suit than that first suit. And then the funny part was, like, Clint has that one friend. I mean, his friends are old as hell. Like, he's 40, but his friends look like they pushing 50. But he has that one friend that looks like McSteamy. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. He has the makings of McSteamy. He looked like Eric Dane, but it's not like Eric Dane. Like, he looked like him, but not fine like him, if that makes any sense. Like, he looks like him, but not fine like him. But I was like, your friends really want you in this plain gray suit? Like, you look like a guest. Like, you look like you buying a suit to be a guest at someone else's wedding, not to show up to your own wedding in which you're marrying a bride. Like, it was just, I don't know, I didn't like it. But I mean, maybe for him, they know him better. I mean, it is his wedding, so he could pick what he wants, but I think he just looked too plain for it to be his wedding. Now, their actual wedding, I think, went a lot better than Shaquille and Kirsten's. But what's funny is when she came around the corner, his face was so blank. I was like, oh, he thinks she's ugly. And I was sad because I think Gina's so pretty, but his face was so blank. I was like, yeah, he don't like her. Then later on, like after the wedding, he was like, she's so beautiful. Her smile, her eyes got me. I was like, if that's how you flirt, if that's how you look at people you like, we in danger, because you look so mad. Like, his face had no expression whatsoever as she walked down the aisle. And she was walking down the aisle looking crazy as hell. I was like, MAFS, why y'all got her in slow-mo looking like this? Like, she looks crazy. And you have her in slow-mo, smiling all big. Her mouth is, you could see her tonsils. Like, I was like, why did they slow-mo this? Like, speed it up, get her down the aisle. This was shady, unintentionally, but shady. But their wedding seemed a lot better. Like, it seemed very natural, very calm. It seemed like two people that seemed like they would get along. And they were both, like, what it looked like, attracted to each other. So after their wedding, when they were sitting outside, and they were talking, and then she realized that they lived in the same building. I was like, what are the odds of you getting matched with someone that you live in the same building as? And I mean, it's funny because the truth is, when you live in a high-rise or a big apartment building, you may see people regularly or like every so often, but you don't know them and you don't talk to them. And you don't really get close enough to see them, but you're just like, oh, I know that person. And so I think that's kind of cool. And then also they kind of know they're in the same, I mean, hopefully that means they're like in the same tax bracket because they're living in the same place. I mean, that's not a guarantee, but it is a nice little, you know, thing to know. Like, okay, she lives here. She can afford this, right? I think that made him a little bit comfortable when she said it. Like, even though he didn't know her or remember her, I do think that it made him a little bit comfortable. The last couple that got married, Nicole and Chris, I like them. I just like them together. I think they're such a cute couple. Do I think that Nicole is giving me season 14 Lindsay vibes? Abso-freaking-lutely. She has too much energy. She talks too much. She can't really stop. And I'm like, is Chris gonna be able to deal with this? And if he can, this might be perfect. But if he can't, this is gonna be problematic. But I just wanna know, did they tell them like, hey, these are the stuff that your spouse likes? Because those gifts that they gave were so spot on. The moon bracelet, the moon rock, like, I don't think it was a moon rock, but it was like a little crystal. Like, he gave her an engagement ring, which was really sweet. We've seen them give engagement rings at different times, after, before, you know, which I thought it was sweet. He thought about her. The fact that they both guessed what the other person's name was going to be. He guessed her to be a brunette. Like, I'm kind of really sold on this couple. I just want Nicole to bring it down 3 or 4 or 5 notches. And I think that they could be perfect. I'm just afraid that Nicole is going to get in her way. Like, she is a very intense person. And I don't know if she is the very first person to have the right energy coming into this, because she's like this is it. If it doesn't work, I have no one else. I have no other options. I have to make this work. And I don't know if that's the right energy to go into this with, or if that's just a little too much. But then you have to remember, this is married. This is married at first sight. This is marriage. Like, you're not going into a blind date. You're going into a marriage. So do you have to look at it as this is final destination? Or do you like come into it kind of how we're seeing Eris coming into it? Like, oh, I want to come into it, but you know, it seems a little iffy. And I don't know, but I kind of like her energy, but I do want her to tone down some of the crazy. And I feel like if she does, great couple. I will say Chris's suit was a little too baggy. It did not really fit him, or maybe he's just awkward in suits. Like, his friend literally was like, oh, are those pajama pants? It was his suit. Like, how does your friend think your suit is pajamas? Like, and then when he wore his pants like everyone else, no socks, showing ankle, this man strapped his socks all the way up to his calf. Like, he was like, y'all not getting no ankle from me. No ankle, you getting just socks. Like, he was really like, no way. I just don't know. I want them to work so bad. I like them, and I hope that it works. I hope this is the beginning of a good marriage. Their wedding went off smoothly. They both were real chatty. I think, you know, obviously Nicole over talks, and I think Chris is a nervous talker. So he was like making comments probably because of nerves, but the energy seemed good. Definitely seemed really good, and I hope that means thumbs up for them. Then we had two couples, McKinley and Dominique, Eris and Jasmine, who did not get married this episode, but we watched them dress shop and suit shop. McKinley walked into his suit shopping like, oh, I think I'm trendy and stylish, and I was like, I haven't seen this man wear one thing I would call trendy or stylish, but you know, maybe we just get him filming on the wrong days. But then he put on that little blue suit, and I was like, okay, he trying to come through, because he looked good. Like, he looked good in that suit. I was like, okay, this is a good choice. Like, he looked good in his suit. I don't think his regular clothes were trendy and stylish, but in that suit, the man looked good. Dominique went dress shopping. I don't know about Dominique's energy. A part of me is feeling like her mom is trying to get rid of her. Not get rid of her, because obviously she loves her daughter, but I think she's like, girl, you call me too much, you depend on me too much, you need a husband. And I feel like that is why she's really not ready for marriage. I mean, she said it before, and she said it this episode, her mom signed her up. So how do I know if she's really ready for marriage if this actually wasn't even really her decision? This was her mother's decision that she's going along with. And yes, they keep calling her an old soul. It's like, I don't know. And we'll have to see how the wedding goes, how they interact. I'm also really worried about McKinley because his family isn't there. He has no family in the Tennessee area. He has friends, and he hasn't even mentioned if his family will be at the wedding, like if it'll be a problem or if they're coming. So I'm a little iffy about his whole thing, because it's like, is he here because he's trying to get married, or is he here because he's trying to be seen so more women will want him? And I'm not saying he's like a player, but maybe to expand his options, because I'm just not, I don't know, the lack of family, you know, I'm not saying that you have to have a family member, because obviously people move and live in places away from their family. But if you're going to get married, you would think that you'd call them and let them know. And we just haven't heard from them at all. And then on top of that, he's marrying a mixed race girl, and he appears as a white man. Is that going to be a problem for his family? Does he know that's going to be a problem? Is that why he's not calling them or telling them? Like, I'm just a little worried, and I just need to see what happens. Eris and Jasmine. Eris went suit shopping. He looked good in his suits. I'm not gonna lie. He looked good in his suits. He was looking good. His friends are ridiculous. But, you know, they're right. Again, if you know you have a shallow friend, the bride being ugly is a concern, right? Like, they can't deny that. If he doesn't like the girl, how is he going to react? What is he going to do? Is he going to be appropriate? It's important to know. Jasmine went dress shopping. Oh my God, her dress is beautiful. I rarely see long sleeve dresses that I like. I've seen a few in the past, but hers was so beautiful. I loved it. I think she looked great in it. They started to show the build up to their wedding, and Eris saw his cousin and he had a conversation with her, and she was like, hey, you know, this is weird. You shouldn't be doing this. I don't like this for you, and you should dip. It's not too late. And honestly, his cousin knows him better than we all do. And it seems like she might be trying to like foreshadow this for him and know that he shouldn't be getting into this relationship. It's just weird to me. I just know that it's not supposed to work, but we'll see. Those two weddings are coming up next episode, and I'll be back to talk about them. Please like and subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave your feedback, tell me what you think, and we'll be back next time to have another Robe Chronicles and talk about Married at First Sight.